welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited that you are here, and I hope that you are having an absolutely beautiful, magical, spooky, but all the good things morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you when this video finally reaches you. Today, we are diving into a terrifying Halloween night trick-or-treating horror story. Now, over the past couple of days, I've been kind of going through it slightly health-wise. If you've been on my channel for a while, you would know that I have lung problems. I have ever since I was little, and I had half of my left lung removed years ago. But this time of year, with the weather changing, it can sometimes be really hard on my body. And I thought that I was getting sick, but now I think it's just how the weather change was affecting my body. Hence why I was kind of MIA. But during that time, I was in my bed with the gloomy weather, kind of under the weather, and just kind of searching some really spooky Halloween stuff. I mean, what better to do when you're not feeling up to anything else, or even if you are, what better to do? And I stumbled upon a Halloween night trick-or-treating horror story. So I thought, why not read it here with you guys, react to it, get into the dark, spooky Halloween spirit, because Halloween and the end of October is ridiculously fastly approaching. And I just thought, what better time than now? So with that being said, make sure to sit back, relax, maybe turn a light on, because this is about to get dark. Let's get into it. So this is titled, Beware the Haunted House. My name is Tristan, and I'm now a grown woman from Texas. I don't normally share my stories online, but when I was a kid, I had a trick-or-treating horror experience, and I've recently saw people online talking about their own experiences, so I figured I'd share mine. But before I do, here's a little backstory for you. Halloween has always been one of my favorite times of year. Same. I love the cold fall air, the costumes, and of course, the candy. I was small for my age growing up, so lucky for me, that meant prolonged years of trick-or-treating, and I loved every minute of it. My older brothers would take me to the best neighborhoods all around our town in exchange for some candy, and I felt like that was a fair deal. But I'll never forget this one Halloween, that everything completely changed. I had just turned 13, but like I said, I was a very small girl. I could easily have passed for 10. I knew the strategy in order to pass was to pick age-appropriate costumes, and so this year I landed on a princess. There had been talk that the richer neighborhoods would have quite the setup this year, and full-size chocolate bars, so I knew that that was a must for me. It got dark, we got dressed up, and headed out into the night. The first few hours were going great, and my candy bag was getting full. Another year of trick-or-treating despite my rising age. I mean, what could be better? But as the night went on and the streets were emptying, my brothers wanted to get in the car and go home because they were cold. I was cold too, but I felt like it was just one night and we could make that sacrifice and stay out a little longer. So I got upset and said there had to be a few more houses I wanted to cover, and that it wasn't fair for them to take me home yet. So my brothers agreed that they would wait in the warm car while I hit the last few houses. I did exactly that. On the third or fourth house though, things took a dangerous spin. I had rang the doorbell of this dark-looking house. The house was dark, and I guess I should have assumed that no one was home, but it was decorated so much outside I thought maybe it was worth the try. I stood there for a few minutes and was about to turn away when the door opened. I jumped back. The man was in a clown costume with a really creepy look on his face. "Trick or treat," I said. The man started giggling like the Joker and said, "Giggles the clown loves a good trick." Ew, that's so creepy. As he began handing me candy, I awkwardly laughed and went to turn away when he asked if I wanted to walk through his haunted house. I didn't know what to say. He said he had made a haunted house with his daughter and that I could walk through it for more candy if I wanted to. "Come on," he kept saying. "It's Halloween, have a little fun." I looked around awkwardly, and he must have read my body language, because he became more persistent. Like I said, my daughter's around your age. You don't have to be scared. But with each passing moment, I felt more and more uncomfortable. The man went to put his hand on mine more tightly when I pulled away and ran. When I got in the car, I was completely out of breath and shaking. I told my brothers about what had happened, and they were not happy. My oldest brother got out of the car and banged on his door, but the man didn't answer. When we got home and told my parents, they too weren't happy. My parents wanted to know everything that happened and where this house was. The following day, we went to the police station to file a report. The police said they'd follow up. What we would learn changed everything. Following up with the man, they would discover that the man did not have any kids. He lived completely alone. And beyond that, he had a lengthy record of assaults. When he was asked about the haunted house offer he'd made to me, he completely denied it, claiming that he would never have said such a thing, which was complete and utter BS. He blamed my imagination, and I guess he'd gotten really mad that I'd made up lies, as he called them. The police couldn't do anything, but I hated that the man was lying like that. He had done and said those things. I would go on to forget about it, but the story doesn't stop there. A couple of years later, we would see the man again, except this time on the news. He was being accused of trying to kidnap another little girl in the neighborhood after promising her a haunted experience filled with candy. But this time, people saw it. I couldn't help but remember that that could have been me. The man was completely insane though. He had an alter ego he blamed for everything and said he would never do these things. That it was Giggles the clown who wanted to do it. He said Giggles can't be controlled even though he tries, and anytime he becomes Giggles or Giggles comes out, he has the most disturbing laugh. When they asked him what Giggles wanted with all these kids, including myself, he said that Giggles wanted their and my blood. I'm pretty sure he was later admitted to a psychiatric facility, honestly. I moved away years later, but still think about this from time to time. It honestly changed my perspective on Halloween and the dangers that could present themselves. I'm now a mom of 2, and every Halloween, I keep a strong, sturdy eye on them. I haven't shared this story in a very long time, but with Halloween approaching, I felt like it should resurface. I still wonder what would have happened if I was younger than I was, or completely alone, or even if I fell for it. It's scary, but yeah, that's my trick-or-treating horror story. Be safe out there this Halloween. Some nightmares are people's reality. And that's the end of the experience. I've always been interested in hearing people's Halloween experiences because I feel as though when you go out trick-or-treating or you take your kids out trick-or-treating or you went trick-or-treating, whatever the case is, trick-or-treating, you're putting so much trust in other people. I remember when I was younger, we used to sit down after I came back from trick-or-treating and sort all of my candy to make sure that none of them were opened, etc., but also because I have a peanut allergy to, move those candies to the sides as well. And I remember even as a kid thinking about how sad it is that such a fun thing has to be so monitored, and rightfully so. I mean, the human race can be some of the most compassionate, incredible, wonderful beings, but there's also such a dark side to it as well. And I've said so many times, I am far more afraid of what the living is capable of than the dead at times. Actually, recently, I'm in a French Bulldogs group and they post like all the different events and asking for advice and just cute, fun stuff. And recently they posted saying that they were going to do, on the 30th, a trick-or-treating event for the French Bulldogs. And it would be at a dog park, and the premise of it was that we would bring our dogs all dressed up, and then every Frenchie owner would have treats in their pocket, so that like when the dogs come around to you, they can essentially go trick-or-treating, like they're trick-or-treating from person to person. And I thought it was the cutest, most adorable idea ever. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh my goodness, but what if someone shows up there who has ill intentions and the treats that they give are like poisoned or something, which is awful to even think that, because it's such a wholesome, beautiful thing to like bring your pets together and have some Halloween fun. But unfortunately, that's just not always the world that we live in. And I think that's what terrifies me the most about our world, is that especially if you're a good person and you have a good heart and you wish good on others, you have to always have your guard up. And this story is no exception of why you have to always have your guard up, why you have to be protected by people, or at least be aware of your surroundings, or educate your children even further of like stranger danger, if you will. I told a story years ago as well on my channel about how I used to help out my mom and grandma in like where they used to work. And on this one day, I wanted to take the elevator independently and by myself. And so I took the elevator down. They were taking the second elevator. And there was like a gap between when they got downstairs and when I was outside. And someone, not outside, but like outside of the elevator. And someone tried to give me candy that was not packaged. And I remember my parents had always taught me, like, you never accept any food or candy from strangers, especially if it's not opened. Especially if it is opened. You never accept it, and if it's not open, then you hold on to it until you show mom and dad or whatnot. And the person ran away, and it was a whole ordeal. And to this day, I don't know if that candy was poisoned or if they were just a kind person who unfortunately got the reaction they did because of how people can be in the world. But that story gives me the heebie-jeebies. I think it's crazy when people look back on moments in their lives and they're like, wow, this could have been so different had I have not been aware of my surroundings. But I would love to know what you guys think. I would definitely love to know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Have you had any creepy trick-or-treating experiences? Definitely let me know. And that is it for today's video. I do know that my demographic is a little bit older, but if any of you, I know I do have a couple of young viewers, are going trick-or-treating this Halloween, please stay safe. Please protect yourself. Be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention to the candies and the items that you get. And just protect yourself, because even though there are so many beautiful, incredible people on this planet, there are people with ulterior motives, and I just want to make sure you're safe. With that being said, if you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you enjoyed today's video and my content in general, please make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, stay safe, and please always know that I love you. Bye, guys.